Here's a question. How does Netflix know what you want to watch? Sometimes even before you know it. So you're hanging with your friends, you open Netflix, and boom, there's a show right at the top that looks perfect. You click it and you're hooked. Here's what's really happening. You just interacted with machine learning, and you do this dozens of times every single day even without realizing it. Machine learning is everywhere. But what actually is it? And how does it work? I am Aradhya and I'm breaking down how AI actually works by studying the products we use every day. Today, we're starting with the fundamentals. What is machine learning? And then I'm going to show you exactly where it appears in Netflix. Before we talk about what machine learning is, let's clear up what it's not. Most people think machine learning means computers are thinking or being intelligent, but that's not quite right. Let me show you the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. In traditional programming, a human writes explicit rules. For example, if an email contains Nigerian prince, then mark as spam. You literally tell the computer, if you see this, do that. Every single rule written by hand. The problem here? There are millions of ways to write a spam email, and you cannot possibly write rules for everything. This is where machine learning changes everything. Instead of writing rules, you show the computer examples. The computer finds the patterns itself. Machine learning equals teaching the computer how to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Let me make this concrete with a simple example. You give the computer 10,000 emails, 5,000 of which are spam, 5,000 are not. Each one is labeled. Let's say meeting at 3 p.m., not a spam. Click here to win money, spam. Dinner tonight, not spam. Urgent, verify your account, definitely spam. The algorithm looks at all these examples and finds patterns. Spam often has words like click, urgent, verify. Spam often has excessive punctuations. Spam often comes from unknown senders, and it often has suspicious links. But here's what makes it machine learning. You didn't tell it these rules. It discovered them from the data itself. And once it learns these patterns, it can predict whether new emails are spam, even if it has never seen them before. Every machine learning system needs three things. First, data. Second, algorithm. And third, model. Data here means examples. For the machine to learn, the more the data, the better the model. Netflix, for example, has billions of viewing records, and that is their data. The mathematical process that finds patterns in that data, that's called algorithm. Think of this as the learning engine. Different algorithms work differently, but they all do the same thing, find patterns. And the third one, the end result, the model. Model is what makes the predictions. Feed new data into the model and it will give you a prediction. Let's see this in action with Netflix. We'll go through some examples of where we see the application of machine learning and how is Netflix pulling this off. Netflix is one of the best examples of machine learning in real world. Let me show you where it appears. First one would be our personalized homepage. Let's look at it now. This particular homepage, every single row you see is generated by a different ML model. Let's break it down. This one here. Top picks for you. Here's what's happening behind the scene. Data. What you've watched. What you rated highly. What you watched completely versus abandoned. What time of the day you watch. And what device you're using. The algorithm of Netflix uses collaborative filtering. In simple terms, it finds people with similar tastes to you and see what they loved that you haven't watched yet. And you watch, let's say you watched A, B, and C, and the other users have already watched A, B, C, and D. The prediction now will be that you'll probably like D. The model outputs a ranked list of shows it thinks you'll enjoy. That's what you see in this row. And this is just one row. They're doing this for dozens of rows, each using slightly different algorithms. Let's talk about thumbnail personalization. Here something subtle is happening that most people never notice. The artwork changes based on who's looking. Let's say there's a romantic comedy. Netflix has multiple thumbnail options for the same show. If you watch a lot of comedies, they might show you the funny actor making a silly face. If you watch a lot of romances, they show you the couple in an intimate moment. If you watch a lot of dramas, they show you a more serious scene. The data being used here is your viewing history, which genres you prefer, which actors you respond to, click-through rates on different artwork styles. The model predicts which thumbnail you're most likely to click on. Netflix has A and B tested this billions of times, and they know what works. This is machine learning optimizing for engagement. Let's take another example of the because you watched row. These rows are fascinating because they show you the ML logic explicitly. Because you watched Stranger Things, here are sci-fi shows with strong ensemble casts and 80s nostalgia. The data that is being used here is what Netflix has tagged and gathered for 15 years now. Stranger Things, in this example, genre is sci-fi, horror, drama. The mood is suspenseful, nostalgic. Pacing is fast. Eras, 1980s, and the cast type is ensemble and tone is dark but hopeful. Now what algorithm does now is it does content-based filtering and it finds shows with similar attributes. The model will now rank shows by similarity score and then they'll add it to your personal preference. You see how much of work and effort goes into showing you because you watch Stranger Things, here's what you can watch next. This is machine learning doing content matching at scale, and it works because Netflix has spent years tagging their entire catalog with these attributes. Now you'd say, why am I talking about all this and why does it really matter, right? Well, because machine learning is fundamentally changing how products work. Traditional products had the same experience for everyone, and machine learning enables personalization at scale. Netflix has 200 million subscribers. Every single one sees a different homepage. That's only possible with machine learning. And this applies to everything now. Your Google search results, personalized with ML. Your Instagram feed, ranked by ML. Your Spotify playlists, generated by ML. Even your email inbox order. Yeah, ML. Here's the beautiful part though. The more you use these products, the better they get. You use Netflix collects data, the ML model learns, you get better recommendations, and the cycle repeats. It's a virtuous cycle, and the product gets smarter over the time. So what are the key takeaways from this Machine learning equals learning from data, not following explicit rules. The computer finds patterns itself. Second, the three important ingredients for machine learning: data, algorithm, and model. You need examples to learn from, a process to find patterns, and an output that makes the predictions. Third, ML enables personalization at scale. Netflix couldn't manually personalize for 200 million people. ML makes it possible. 4. The more data, the better the model. This is why Netflix keeps getting better at recommendations. 15 years of viewing data. 5. ML is everywhere in modern products. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's in everything you use. Machine learning isn't just for engineers anymore. If you're building products, designing experience, or just want to understand how digital works, this is foundational knowledge. Next week, I'm diving into Spotify's Discover Weekly, one of the most loved ML features ever built. It's a completely different approach from Netflix, and it's brilliant. If you want to understand how AI works by studying real products, subscribe. I'm doing this every week. Till then, I'm Aradhya, and I'll see you next Sunday.